The story I'm going to tell you about was of a friend named Mariam, and she told me that she had never told anyone outside her family what had happened. She said that the day had been very tiring for her and that it was almost time for bed. She reached the bed, and as soon as she put her head on the pillow, she fell asleep. She had an important errand to run the next day for work. Suddenly, she heard the voice of her daughter, Ruby, who was 10 years old. She was running up the stairs and entered the bedroom where she was sleeping. She stood in front of her and said, "Don't bother me today. I have a lot of things to do." Every morning, Ruby would have something important to do, and she would bother me as if she had an alarm set for important things. Mariam and her husband were used to this. She would come and stand a few steps away from the bed and say in a loud voice, "Mama, I don't feel well." And she didn't want to wake up her father, who had work in the morning. By the way, her father was a doctor, and he always examined her when he woke up and found her well. They knew that she was doing this because she wanted to miss school. Mariam always asked her daughter if she was feeling, "Is your head or your stomach aching?" She didn't get an answer from her and got up. She sat up to see what was wrong, and as soon as she woke up, she looked at the alarm clock and found that it was very early and that she couldn't sleep anymore. She usually didn't turn on the light so as not to wake up her husband, even though her husband didn't wake up easily and could sleep despite the dizziness that Ruby caused. When she got up this way, she felt a severe headache, so she said to her, "Come on, I'll take you back to bed." She extended her hand to take it, but when she looked, she saw a very strange sight, even though there was no light in it. The room, but Ruby's appearance was much darker than the darkness, and the figure in front of her was the same height as her daughter, and was wearing the same red pajamas that she had worn when she went to bed. But in appearance, her legs and hands were much higher, and her eyes were hollow and black, as if there was a stranger in the house. She stretched out her hands, fixing her eyes on them, to reach her husband because she wanted to wake him up from his sleep. But he was at the end of the bed on the other side, and she wasn't tall, so she had to move from her place. But she wasn't able to move an inch from her place because of the fear she had. Her husband's name was Majid, and she started calling out to him, saying, "Majid, wake up. Please wake up." The person in the house was still standing in front of her, staring at her. She moved forward from her place and brought a small tooth closer to the thing standing in front of her to see who this person was. She was very terrified and found that it wasn't her daughter. It was a terrifying sight, but her mind was telling her that it was all a dream. But suddenly she saw something strange, that the thing standing there was moving her head in a strange way, and she was shaking with fear. And suddenly she screamed loudly to the point that her husband, Magid, woke up from her sleep, and her daughter came running shaken and saying, "What's wrong?" And Magid told her to calm down, it was a dream or a nightmare. She told him, "No, there was someone here in the room, and at first I thought that this was our daughter, but this was something terrible and very frightening." He responded to her. He told her, "Calm down, there's no one there. It was a dream." She replied, "No, it's not a dream. It was real. It was very scary." He told her, "I told you there wasn't." She said, "You have to go to work these next 2 days because the effects of the treatment will take time and won't go away quickly, especially since the fatigue of surgery takes time and there are hallucinations." She said, "I'm not dreaming. I want you to believe me, Majid. This was very scary." He said to her, "I know it's a scary dream and it feels like reality, but it was a dream in the end. I also want you to cancel tomorrow's work trip because it's clear you're still tired. I'm worried about you and I want you to be healthy. Also, for our daughter's sake, she feels safe with you and doesn't feel afraid." She was very scared. "While you're in the hospital, what do you think about taking the girl? Tomorrow she'll be with her grandmother. She'll spend a few days and you'll rest a bit. I don't want you to worry." He said, "Let's go to sleep." He extended his hand and turned off the light. Al-Nur Mariam. She doubted that what he was saying was true, and that the voice he was speaking with was the voice of reason, and that this was his way of dealing with problems with the patients who came to him. The night after that, Majid came to tell her that he was going to take the baby on his way to work, and that he would be a little late that day because his friends were having a party after work. She told him, "Okay, and I don't want you to worry about me. After you leave in the morning, I will sleep a little until you come back." He asked her if she had taken her medication. She told him, "I don't remember. Maybe I took it, but I'm not sure." He told her, "Okay, so you can recover quickly. Take the medication. Good night." As soon as she fell asleep, she heard her daughter's voice again. She was waking her up and saying, "Mama, wake up. Wake up." She asked her, "What happened, Ruby? Do you want something?" She said, "Mama, I don't feel well." Here she remembered that her daughter was with her grandmother. She looked slowly and found the same evil girl who looked like a devil and wasn't her daughter, so she told her, "You are not my daughter because my daughter is with her grandmother. Who are you?" She said to her, "Mom, I am your daughter. I refused to go to my grandmother because I felt I wasn't okay." She said to her, "You are not my daughter. My daughter is with your grandmother. Your daughter is you. You are lying." She grabbed the alarm clock and started hitting her a lot. She went to continue sleeping. Suddenly, she woke up to the sound of her husband screaming and saying, "No, Ruby, wake up." He was screaming and crying loudly, saying, "You killed our daughter." She remembered the girl who looked strange and found out that it was Ruby. Her husband was crying loudly and telling her, "You are mentally unstable." Mariam was in a state of extreme terror and didn't understand what had happened. It turned out that when Majid asked Ruby to go to her grandmother, she told him that she was sick, and he left her in.